Well, ho 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 and Merry Christmas everybody. It's December 25th. Well, actually it's December 15th. But this is going to air on December 25th. And this is my response to my open tag on Christmas presents. Knives you received as Christmas presents. I will only be showing two knives, by the way. Well, showing two knives in a box because I received this little thing in the mail yesterday, and it says, "To Tobias from Santa." But as I mentioned, today is really only December 15th. You'll be seeing this in 10 days. And guess what? I'll be opening this in 10 days as well. But I don't know when I'll be showing the video for this one, probably a day or two later. So keep an eye out on this one. You'll be seeing it soon. But I do at least get to have a sneak peek of the wrapping paper. And if you see there, we got a bear on the wrapping paper. So I got to keep this away from Yakima Bob because he might freak out if he sees a bear. He's always worried about Christmas bears. And if you see there, "To Tobias from Santa." But I have it on good authority that Santa had Stuart Harvey pass this on to me. So Santa must have been on his naughty list or something. He must have lost my address because he sent it to Stuart Harvey and Stuart passed it on to me. So thank you very much, Stuart, for getting this wonderful gift to me that Santa got for me. And I'm shaking it. It sounds like a box, but I'm one of those type of people who I love to open my Christmas presents on Christmas Day. I don't, so if I get a Christmas present early, it sits under the tree until Christmas Day. That's just me. Now I know other people, they'll open it as soon as it shows up, but not me. It's got to be on Christmas Day. Otherwise, you kind of spoil all the fun, the excitement, the anticipation, and everything else. And so this is waiting for Christmas Day. And while you're seeing this now, it is Christmas Day, so by now I've opened it up, and all I can say is, thank you, Santa. Thank you, Stuart. I knew this was going to be awesome. I've been waiting for 10 days to see it, and it is fantastic. Thank you. There'll be another video where I show you just how fantastic it is. Speaking of which, like the t-shirt, you'll shoot your eye out. That's because one of the things I asked for Christmas, you've seen my Red Ryder knives. I've got all sorts of Red Ryder knives. But one thing I've asked for Christmas for years, I mean, since my kids were little, and the first time they probably saw this movie, A Christmas Story, on television, I started putting on my Christmas list. They'd always ask, "What do you want for Christmas, Daddy?" And I'd write down a Red Ryder BB gun. And this went on for easily 15 or 20 years until my kids were in college, and finally, it's the same thing. What do you want for Christmas? I wrote the list down, and the very first thing I'd always put down, a Red Ryder BB gun. And my daughter said, "You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get him the Red Ryder BB gun. He's always asking for it. I'll get it for him." And I was like, you know what? Maybe it'll shut him up, or maybe he'll start telling me what he really wants for Christmas. And so that year she got this for me, and just like in the movie, she hid the box, and then she brought out the box after all the other presents were open, and then there it was, an official Red Ryder BB gun. And they kind of laughed a little bit, and I thought, "Oh, this is awesome." And they go, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been asking for it for years, and I finally got it." It was one of those things where I didn't want to go buy it. I wanted somebody to buy it for me for Christmas, because to me, that's what should happen. If you want a Red Ryder BB gun, you should get it for Christmas. Somebody should buy it for you for Christmas. And she finally got it for me. I don't know if it's 200 shots, 250 shots. I know it works. I never put in that many BBs because load it up right there, dump them in. I put in 15 or 20 at a time so that I don't store it with anything in there. There's nothing in there now. Whoops. Oh well, I would have just hit a jackalope if there were any BBs, but you can usually hear them. But in any case, got myself my Red Ryder BB gun, and got a safety on it and everything. I've always been told that when you store a BB gun, you should store it cocked and with the safety on, because it helps with the washers. I don't know if that's true or not, but in any case, there you have it. This is a really great present. This is one of the most enjoyable presents I received as an adult. For Christmas. It's something with guys. Guys actually do like toys for Christmas. So if you're out there, if you've got a father and he's asking for a toy for Christmas, or if your husband is asking for a toy for Christmas, trust me, he really does want it. At least if he's me, he really wants it. So when I ask for a toy for Christmas, I definitely want it. Same thing with a knife. If I'm asking for a knife for Christmas, yeah, I usually want that knife. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking for it. And speaking of knives, well, first, notice the hat. Is that not an awesome hat? Look at this thing. Look at how thick and fluffy this is. This hat is about 40 odd years old. This hat originally belonged to the guy who got me this knife. This hat was my father's hat. When he passed away, the hat came to me, and every Christmas when it's time to give out presents, this hat goes on, because that's what my father did. When he put this hat on, it was time to hand out presents. And one of the presents I got from him when I was about 15 or 16 years old, I do not know if I was a junior in high school or a senior in high school, one of the two. So I had either just turned 17 or just turned 16 when I got this. And by that time, I was already going out in the field playing Army stuff with the local college ROTC crowd. I got in with them doing field exercises and stuff in my junior year of high school. Running, the first thing I did was run an escape and evasion course. 2 years later, instead of going through the escape and evasion course, I was actually overseeing escape and evasion courses and teaching people orienteering and stuff. So by the time I was a freshman in college, I was doing stuff that other juniors in college were doing with the different tactical groups and stuff. So because I started really early. In any case, at that time, my brother was older than me by 3 years, so he was 3 years ahead of me in college also. And my father bought both my brother and I a Camillus Mark II fighting knife for Christmas that year. 7-inch blade, 5-inch handle. You've seen it. You know what everyone calls it. Everyone, even back then, was calling it a KBar. And that was really my first time of saying it. Is like, why is it called a KBar if it says it's Camillus here? Because KBar is a knife company, and why would Camillus call this a KBar? And it's like, well, that's what the Marines called it or something like that. So we've had that discussion before. But in any case, this one, as you can see here, from the marking on there, U.S. Camillus, New York, that's the way the knives were marked up to about the end of the Vietnam War. And so what you will see people doing with this knife, because of that tang stamp, is they'll say it was a Vietnam issue knife. Well, no, it isn't. I know for a fact where this one came from. This one was bought at Bailey's Army Navy store in Chicago, Illinois, because that's where my father bought it. But this was like probably one of the coolest gifts a 16-year-old kid could ever get. This wonderful knife here, and still got it today. Lots of good memories with it. I did carry it while I was in the Army, but I had it for at least 5 or 6 years before I even went into the Army with it. And you can see it's definitely seen its days. You can tell, especially with the sheath. That's the tip of the knife there, which is a common problem with these sheaths on the fighting knives. And you also see up here you got the nick up there where it's been cut, and that's from the knife going in and out of the sheath here. And you can see, this has gone through many a swamps, gone through many a snowstorms, gone through so many things, but it's just a terrific knife. And this is one of those things that I will be handing down. Someone will probably get it for a Christmas present someday. Who knows? Maybe they'll use it. Maybe they'll say, no, that was Papa's knife, so, and it'll just be something they cherish. That'll be up to them if they want to carry it and use it, or if they want to save it for prosperity and give it to their kids, But if they get it, they're going to learn how to sharpen it first, because if they're going to use it, they should know how to sharpen it. And that was one of those other things that my father also did, was help me learn how to sharpen the knife. And I could get this so sharp that I could take it out of the sheath, hold a sheet of paper in front of me, drop the sheet of paper, and slice the sheet of paper in half with this knife. And then I learned that's probably too sharp. It was definitely shaving sharp, but it wasn't cut down to true sharp, because you definitely would get a couple nicks in it when you start to use it against some hard surface, with that blade being that sharp. 1095 carbon steel, though, wonderful stuff. And that, this is definitely one of my, it's tied for, well, actually, you saw the Red Ryder BB gun. That is one of my favorites. This is definitely one of my favorites. And this next knife is also one of my favorites. And guess what? Matches the hat. It's all red too. And yeah, I have shown it before, and I'll show it again, I guarantee it. Right there. My very first Swiss Army knife that I ever got. It is a Woodsman, also known as a Huntsman. The difference at that time was the Woodsman did not have the tweezers and toothpick, and the Huntsman did. But you can see it also is definitely not in mint condition. You see the big old nick there. That was actually where it hit a piece of hot metal and it was melted. Got another nick over here. Lots of little scratches in there, but the shield is nice and firm. You got the 4-turn corkscrew with the the little fluting in there, or the groove. And I have pulled many corks out of wine bottles with that, when no one else had a cork screw. It got the punch there, which has drilled many holes. The most used blade on this knife was definitely this small blade, the pin blade. This was used a lot more than the main blade. Did a lot of cutting with it, so much so that it was actually nicked. It has been reprofiled a bit, because you just don't get rid of an old friend. But the main blade is fine. Right there, nice and shiny. Still looks pretty good, because I know how to sharpen a knife, so it isn't all scratched up. Never hit it with a file, and never hit it with a grinder or anything like that, so it's in really good shape. Didn't use the can opener a lot because I used the P38, but I use this tip here a lot because they used to talk about that being a Phillips screwdriver a whole lot more than they do these days. So I did a lot of Phillips screws with that. Old no half stop on the cap lifter and the screwdriver tip, and definitely popped more than my share of beer bottles with that. The scissors have definitely seen better days. You see there the screw, yep, it will definitely get loose. And if you notice the spring, it's not that old. It wasn't a single spring. It was one of those double leaf springs. but it broke, and so I just bent it out a bit, and it continues to troop on and continues to work. And I have definitely used this wood saw more than most people would think. I have used it to cut 2x4s, 2x2s, 1x2s, tree branches, all sorts of things. I really like the wood saw on this thing, and that's why I swear by it. But the big story about this is a knife that my wife got me back in the mid 1980s one Christmas, and money was tight. I had gotten out of the Army, did not have a really solid job yet. It was like starting all over after you get out of the Army. And this was the only thing I asked for Christmas that year was a Swiss Army knife. I did not know much about Swiss Army knives at the time. I just knew I wanted one, and I said, just get me a Swiss Army knife with a saw and scissors and no tweezers or toothpicks. Didn't even know what it was, and she went looking and she got it. She bought it, and it's been with me ever since. I must have carried it for a good 20 years, using it daily, doing all sorts of things with it. This was a faithful companion for many years, just like this saw me through the Army. This saw me through my children growing up. If I needed to fix something real fast, I would pull this out. If there was a screw that needed to be tightened, I would pull this out. If we were at a party and somebody needed a corkscrew, I'd pull this out. This knife got so much use, it was crazy. And then probably, I'd say 8 or so years ago, I finally retired it. It was like, no, I don't want to lose it. It became too special to use. Yeah, it can actually happen. You can get a knife that is like, I want to save this knife. I want to be able to pass this knife down to my grandchildren. And that's why this knife really doesn't get used anymore, and why this knife doesn't get used anymore. It isn't that I don't trust them. If my life depended on these knives, I would break them out right away. But otherwise, it's like, no, these are going to be something that hopefully my grandchildren will cherish someday. And the same thing with Old Faithful here. I don't think my daughter realizes this, but one of these days, her son is going to get this gun. It's not going to go to one of my sons. They can get their own Red Ryder BB gun from their kids, but her son is going to get this gun from me after I've shot a whole lot more BBs with it. But anyway, there you have it. There's my response to my open tag on knives that you got for Christmas, and a knife I will soon get for Christmas. At least I think it's a knife. Man, I really just want to pop this open now. In theory, this will air on Christmas Day, so no, that's cheating. Gotta wait. Anyway, Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are having a great time on Christmas Day. So great of a time, but don't shoot your eye out on Christmas Day. Wait till the next day. And show you more on this in the near future. Thanks for joining me. Have a blessed Christmas and a most prosperous and joyous New Year.
Thanks for dropping by Knife Chats with Tobias. Don't forget to give us that thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know when the next episode is up and online.